meet the wrong people, that's my trouble. Yeah, like last week I met the Surgeon General. He offered me a cigarette.
You know, today I found a guy's hand in my pocket and said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want a match." I said, "Why did you ask for it?" He said, "I don't talk to strangers."
I'm also glad to be here at ABC, very glad. You see, they're letting me do anything I want, all except the censors. See, they wanted me to do some of my nightclub material on television. So they said that they would decide if I could do any of that stuff from my act that I do in the nightclub here on TV. So they decided the only thing that I could do from my nightclub act was smoke. A cigarette.
Wait, let me light this cigarette. See, I don't smoke ordinary. I just smoke the time I act. See, when I smoke a regular, I know I've been on, say, 18 minutes. I smoke a king size, I know I've been on for 36 minutes. Got a hold of one in Mexico one time. I was on for 2 days. You know how they had a dog at the airport sniffing your luggage for narcotics? Old dog sniffed my bag and sit down and wrote 2 hit tunes for Gladys Knight. Nah, but I feel good now ever since Ellis Hale they brought out Roots. Boy, wasn't Roots good? Man, it make you feel good to be among the minority. You can walk out now and say, "Black is beautiful," and be proud. I had an uncle who was so black and all to have a brown-skinned kid, he had to marry a ghost.
I'm delighted to be here with Red Foxx, one of my real good buddies. I mean, a man with heart. Terrific heart. I really mean that. I really, you don't know. You don't know what a heart this man has got. A man who once took Ray Charles to a Marcel Marceau concert. That'll give you an idea about this man, I tell you.
Now, I'm in the room. I called downstairs for a bucket of ice, $4. Dollar tip, $5. 2 hours later, I ordered a bottle of beer. Bottle of beer is $1.25. They put it in a bucket of ice. That's called up yours.
I'm happy to be here. They treat me great. And when I came over here, they told me I could have any dressing room I wanted. Now, that was class. Then they said I could have any parking space I wanted, including the presidents of the network's parking space. That was more than class. And then yesterday came the icing on the cake. They told me I could use any drinking fountain I wanted.
I love it. I mean, you know, this is America, man. Japanese can do pretty much anything they want to do, born and raised here, this and that. And I love the fact that I was the only Japanese guy that ever worked in a nightclub with Red. I remember in the old days, you know, when we was first getting started, he used to have clever ways of introducing me. You know, he'd say like, "Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Kamikaze Mouth. The world's shortest colored comedian. My friend, the albino pygmy." But you know, with his success, he's kind of mellowed, I guess. He's beautiful. And you notice he's getting a little darker, too. But he took me, and this could only happen in America, he took me to the Apollo Theater. Where is a Japanese guy in the whole world ever going to work the Apollo Theater? And, you know, he had a tough time convincing me. He says, "Oh, come on, Pat, just be yourself." I said, "Red, I ain't been Japanese since December 1941.
Thank you very much, folks, and welcome to my show. I can't believe those words. My show. It can only happen in America. First, a Muslim minister becomes heavyweight champ of the world. Then a peanut farmer replaces a football player as president of the United States. So it's just natural progression that a dirty old man should get his own show.
I'll tell you my trouble. I got the wrong doctor. You know my doctor, Dr. Vinny Boombats. That's my doctor. Yeah, I saw him last week. I told him I got a ringing in my ear. He said, "Don't answer it." Oh, one time I saw him, he told me to run 5 miles a day for 2 weeks. I called him up. I said, "Doc, I'm 70 miles from my house." I saw my dentist last week, too, another beauty. I said to him, Doc, can you put in a new tooth to match my other teeth? He put in a tooth with 4 cavities. I didn't like my dentist the first time I saw him. I said to him, look at my teeth, they're all getting yellow. He told me to wear a brown necktie. I'll tell you, last week was a rough week for me. I broke up my psychiatrist, too, last week. He told me I'm going crazy. I said to him, if you don't mind, I'd like a second opinion. He said, all right, you're ugly, too.
I said, Doc, it hurts when I do that. He said, don't do that. Doctor said to me, get undressed. I said, take me out a few times first. I'm standing there naked. The doctor says, go over the window, stick your tongue out the window. I said, for what? He said, I'm mad at my neighbor. I said, Doc, I got shingles. He tried to sell me aluminum siding.
4 o'clock in the morning, I'm sleeping. The sink in the room starts to drip. I pick up the phone, I call up the manager. I got a leak in the sink. He says, go ahead.
Well, it's rough and it's tough. It's tough to get water out here in California. I'll tell you how tough it is to get water. They sell it on the streets by the kilo. But I'm sort of used to that. I grew up without a lot of things, including water. We couldn't even afford salt. To get salt, we'd have to go down to the playground and scrape the athletes.
That's the only trouble I have about Beverly Hills. The white barbers are not too familiar with this new Afro hairdo. I go in the barber shop, I jumped in the chair. I said, Angelo, I want the Afro look. And I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I had a bone in my nose. And he was trying to put a saucer in my lip.
If you stop to think about it, some of the biggest people in the history of the world never stood on Red's corner. That's right. I want to tell you something. I looked it up. You'll be surprised. The biggies who have never stood on this corner. Eve, who said to Adam in the Garden of Eden, what do you mean the kids don't look like you? Never stood on this corner. Ponce de Leon, first man to go to Florida without his wife. Never stood on this corner. Noah's wife, who said to Noah after it had been raining for 40 days and 40 nights, it's your turn to spread the papers on the floor. Never stood on this corner. Golda Meir, who once said, how come the Arabs have the gas, we have the heartburn? I am thrilled. Lady Godiva's husband, Mendel. That's right, Mendel Godiva, who said to his wife, that horse has been home 3 hours. Where the hell have you been? By golly, I'm thrilled. Red Foxx, who said to King Kong, Norman, is that you? I could stand up here for a year and a half. Mahatma Gandhi's mother, who once said to Mahatma, eat a cookie, who's gonna know? On this corner. And if they never played the corner, I'm not gonna play the corner. Good night, everybody.
I'll tell you, in my family, there's always something. My uncle just died, too, went to the funeral. My uncle, he was an atheist. Oh, it's pitiful he was lying there, all dressed up, no place to go. And he was a lazy guy, my uncle. Who was he lazy? He was so lazy, he married a girl who was pregnant.
I had an uncle up here, was a psychic, knew the exact day he was going to die. The warden told him. A drunk gets into a taxi. He said, take me to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. He says, you're at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. He said, next time, don't drive so fast.
But I won't complain, ladies and gentlemen, because it's still the greatest country in the world, and I swore 2 years ago I'd never leave my country, and I kept my word. Last time I left this country, I went to Puerto Rico. That's where they give it to you. That's right. As soon as you come off the airplane, come on, the Yankee, gonna screw you again.
I found a lot of unusual things about black people. I mean, I found, for instance, that all black people can't use chopsticks. But then again, who needs them with ribs? Oh, and they cook great greens. I love the greens. And there was out-of-sight cornbread and gravy and sweet potato pie. But I gotta tell you, gang, they are messing up the rice.
Another fellow walks in the doctor. The doctor said, "You're going to live to be 60. He said, "I am 60. Is what I tell you."
I tell you, nobody has it easy in life, nobody. You know, I feel sorry for short people. When it rains, they're the last ones to know about it. Am I too deep for this whole section over here? I got enough problems, you know. My car wouldn't start today again. I got a car, I got nothing but trouble with it. Every Sunday, I take my family out for a push. I spent half my life hanging around gas stations. And one thing, when I look for my car, it's so easy for me to find it, you know? It's always on a lift. I'm always watching it going up and down and up and down. I got the only car that has more miles on it vertically than horizontally. The last time my wife drove the car, she cracked it up, too. She went into a tree. She told me it wasn't her fault. She blew the horn. Now, the first time she drove the car, she hit a deer. It was in a zoo.
Fella says to another fellow, "Look, take this gun and go in the bank. Tell her you want the money. Get the money, put it in the bag, back out. Anybody gets in your way, shoot to kill, and come right outside here, give me the money. I'll be sitting in the car, and I'm taking all the chances." He said, "You mean to tell me you want me to go in there with the gun, hold up the teller, get the money, back out, anybody gets in the way, shoot to kill, bring the money out to me in the car, and you say you're taking all the chances? How are you taking all the chances?" He said, "I can't drive." Here's one I do myself. I want to do this myself because I like it. As a man lost in the woods comes upon a monastery, a religious building. Outside the monastery, the friars in their costumes and the monks are working. And he tells them he's hungry and he's lost, and they invite him in. They say, "All we have to eat is fish and chips." And he eats the fish and chips, and he loves the fish. He says, "I'd like to meet the man who made the fish." They bring a man out. They say, "You the fish fryer?" He says, "No, I'm the chipmunk." Next scene, picture this. A funeral procession, 2 hearses. Behind the hearse walks a man with a vicious dog, and 100 men in the funeral procession. So a fellow steps off the curb. He says, "What's going on here?" He says, "My wife and my mother-in-law. My dog bit them." He says, "Can I borrow the dog?" He says, "Get in line." In the next scene, I'm sitting on the stool having a drink. Over here's a man on the stool having a drink. He falls down 3 times. I pick him up each time. "Bartender, where does this man live? I'll give him a lift home." Tells me where he lives. I grab the man, pull him down to the car, open the back seat, put him in. He falls down. I get to the address they gave me. I pull the man out of the car. He falls down 3 more times. I pick him up each time. I knock on the door. "Mrs. Einstein, I brought your husband home." She says, "Where's his wheelchair?"
I tell you, my whole life, I don't get no respect. By the time I asked my old man if I can go ice skating on the lake, he told me to wait till it gets warmer.